Good day everyone, and welcome back to Beatings in Space, a SD Gundam G Generation Genesis Let's Play. My name is Obago, and with me once again is...
Megalomaniac. Hello, Internet.
Good day. So, last time we did the first episode of Lost War Chronicles.
One of yet another random video game set during the 1 Year War.
Yep. Today, we are diving into Cross Dimension 0079, which was the story mode for another G-Gen game?
No, actually, it's the first random 1 Year War spin-off game. It was made for the original Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Or Super Famicom in Japan, but you know what I mean.
It's like really my only... Like, the only connection I've had with Pixie Gundam is...
Yeah.
Like, random G-Gen... Like, random old G-Gens, in fact.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a... I at least think it's the first time they did an original story set during the 1 Year War for Gundam. I could be wrong.
Interesting. Yeah, so... And this is actually like a very small story. It is actually only 2 missions in G-Gen Genesis, so it's the easiest one to just finish off. And they are also basically 2 adjacent days. So in terms of doing it chronologically, we get to do episode 1, and then we do episode 2 right afterwards.
Yeah, the original game, it was split in half, where the first part was essentially you doing the original TV show, and then the second half was this original thing. So that's probably why. Like, I never played the game. I'm just assuming it's, long stretch of doing the original anime, and then here's do this other thing.
Yeah, I'm not in touch because, like, again, based on what they decide to show for Genesis, like, it's this basically 2 encounters, and it leaves you wondering, like, what more would they even have to do? Especially with the way it ends at the end of the next stage.
Yeah. I remember, like, kind of playing it back in the day when I was just messing around with any SNES ROM I could get my hands on. I mean, totally legal Japanese carts.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Vertically, it was like a weird kind of like tactics strategy game, similar to this, but more, I don't know, smaller scale, I guess.
Yeah, I never really saw the original games.
Yeah. Also notably where the Ifrit comes from, which will show up later in Blue Destiny. Much more famously from Blue Destiny.
Yeah. Amusingly, the Ifrit Custom is the one that's generally more well-known.
Yeah.
The Ifrit is very, very interesting in G-Gen because it is actually one of the few mobile suits which is like pretty consistently dodgy. Especially at this tech level, like you will see later on that characters will actually have relatively low 2-hit rates trying to attack the Ifrit compared to most other mobile suits.
Yeah. It's funny because they do tend to go back and like do new Ifrits every now and then.
Yeah, there are a bunch, which is nice. Like I kind of like the Ifrit's design.
It's a very cool design. Yeah, they did. I'll say they did one. Obviously, the Blue Destiny one. I want to say they did one in like one of the like PS3 games they did. I can't remember if it's Missing Link or the 0081 one.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. Because in fact, that one shows up in the next stage as a secret unit.
Makes sense.
Unfortunately, you can't capture it there, which like really sucks.
Yeah.
But we'll see that one later.
Yeah, one of them's just really awesome because it's like Ninja Ifrit with kunais.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
If you think that this Ifrit is dodgy, like that one is incredible.
Yeah, this one's cool because it has a shotgun.
One of the things I like about the backstory of the Pixie here is that it's like one of the 3 Gundams that are being made at this time specifically for Amuro.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of wild.
It's like nobody got the right memo.
Yeah, pretty much. Or it's just like, there's like, you know what, if we just do all these different types, like maybe one of them will catch up with him at the right time.
And they never did.
Like, I would imagine that the Pixie is here because they thought that the White Base was going to be flying somewhere nearby, and then stuff happened. Mm-hmm. Whereas the NT1 was probably going to be nearby, but then stuff happened, so it had to fly somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then the G3 just never made it anywhere in time. They just transferred its technology to the Gundam itself.
Mm-hmm. And I did forget to point out the main Federation character in this name is Bork Cry.
Yeah, I was actually gonna comment about
this guy's Lester Carrot. That's another good one.
One thing that's pretty great about a lot of character names in Gundam in general, but side stories in specific, are that their names are ridiculous.
Yeah.
One of my favorite characters, unfortunately, isn't in this game, but his name is Death Stallion. It's so good.
Oh yeah, from Sentinel.
No, that's F90's main guy.
Right. Sentinel's is Rhea Roots.
It's Rhea Roots, which is also real good.
He's actually, despite Sentinel not having a story in this game, Rhea Roots is in the game.
Yeah, I've seen... he also has a unique cut-in, which is very, very good. One thing that people may notice, which is a consistent thing that Genesis does, is that these characters have the blue background where the Federation characters have the red background. This mission is actually super interesting in in this first half here, you play as the Genie characters, and then in the second half you play as the Federation characters. There's also something that's really interesting. I'll probably bring it up when we get to the second half, because it shows that Genesis is very willing to play around with what like the NPC units are able to do.
Yeah.
Names in Gundam are so goofy. Like,
I still love Bring Stabity from Gundam 00.
Yep, Bring Stabity is a real good name. Like, all of the innovators in 00 have just the most ridiculous names. Mm-hmm. Except for, like, I mean, the only ones that didn't have ridiculous names is Tierra Erde, who is the main character. And,
I mean, that's still a ridiculous name. Those are still ridiculous names, just not as ridiculous.
It's sure, but it's like it's a normal-ish name. Like,
relatively speaking.
Relative to animation. I mean, like, yeah. And then Ribbon's Allmark, which is like equally like silly. But then like all the rest of the innovators have like just these ridiculous.
Regine Regetta.
Is it
a new returner?
Yes. So this one is your 2 units against just 3 like regular gun cannons. And it's just like it's just a breezy, easy way to start things off. But yeah, like I said, it's just like interesting that this mission flips things around. But that's just kind of like goes to show like it's showing you what the progression of the story was. So obviously, like the first half went well for the Xeon forces, so you are better off playing the Xeon forces. Also, like I like that Harry and Bork both have a unique cut-in. They both have unique cut-ins, which are like really neat. It's just that like they don't have any variation on their quotes, which is a real shame.
Yeah. Here's that shotgun.
Oh yeah.
You know, they did a kit of the Ifrit custom. I wonder if they ever did one of the normal Ifrit, because I'd love to buy one.
Huh. I want to say
I'd love to buy the Ifrit custom too.
The Ifrit custom Re 100 is really good.
I'll have to seek it out.
Yeah, I actually really like it. Yeah, so it's a good cut-in, but he has one quote, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah. Well, it's not surprising given the kind of the side nature of this game.
Yeah.
Or this story, I should say.
Yeah, probably. Remember, one of our friends was mentioning that one of the reasons why the unique cut-ins are fairly limited is that they actually like completely 3D model the cockpit, which is pretty incredible dedication to detail. But as a result, like that was a lot more work, so there's only a handful. Which makes me like, I'm actually surprised that they bothered to do one for the Ifrit and for the Pixie.
Yeah.
Like some of the other ones that there are unique cut-ins for makes some sense, but
unless they just decide to like blanket make it a thing for every main, quote-unquote main character.
Yeah, maybe. I'd actually have to look and see if I can find a list of what all the unique cut-ins are. I only really know of a handful. Yeah, I'd have to look it up.
Like, I assume Amuro has, 12.
I actually don't know. I might have only seen one. Like, that's also kind of the other thing. Like, you'd think that if you'd already made the cockpit cut-in, you could just do it for every attack. Just, have a random chance that you'll get the cockpit cut-in.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they tie it to special attacks. For the Ifrit, it's if you use its sword, which is not necessarily a unique attack, but it's it's one of its signature ones.
Yeah.
For Pixie, it's if you actually use its signature attack, which you'll see later on.
Mm-hmm. I remember some of the older ones would get goofy and give everybody special quotes and cut-ins for doing Godfinger and God Gundam.
Yeah, I think that there's some stuff like that, but there are fewer opportunities for unique quotes like that in this game compared to others. For example, I imagine that one of the most probably the biggest opportunity for that would be putting a whole lot of people in New Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing what they say for Fin Funnel. Which is something we might see later on.
Is that you hinting, or are you just saying you're going to get a new Gundam?
I mean, at some point I'm going to have a new Gundam.
Maybe.
Just who knows when.
You might skip straight to one of the 5 new variants in the game.
That's possible. Actually, I wonder how many variants they put in this one, because while there's a lot of a lot of side stuff in Genesis, it seemed like they were not necessarily diving too much onto the like weird.
I know for a fact, heavy weapon system and Jaime were in it. I think double fin funnel might be as well.
See,
I'm not sure on that one though.
I would actually be kind of surprised if double fin funnel was included, because that's one that seems to be very easily overlooked. Because it's just new with more fin funnels.
Fin funnel looking wings.
Oh yeah, it's real good looking.
Or wing looking fin funnels, I guess.
It is seriously very good looking. But yeah, it's one that seems very easy to overlook. So I would be surprised if it's in here, but hey, that would be pretty cool. So, like, here is basically where Genesis is laying out what's going on with this group. This little detachment of Zeonic forces is basically a prisoner unit that, for the most part, are sent out here just on a suicide mission, but you find that there's a little bit more to this mission than is otherwise presented.
You could say there's some kind of suicide squad.
Something like that. But there is actually like slightly more to it than meets the eye, and we'll see that in the next episode.
Also, I know that dude has like a headband, but it totally just looks like he's got a bandage wrapped around his head and receiving a concussion.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, there's stuff about what's going on here, which also is kind of weird in hindsight, but we'll talk about that more next time.
There's also one of those stories that kind of points out, hey, the Federation are a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, it's going to be made a lot clearer here in just a moment. And, like, this, Noct Gaddish here is just a gigantic jerk. Like, I don't know what his deal is other than he just hates people.
It's for the elite. Noct Gaddish
is quite a name.
He misses calling his Final Fantasy character.
I'd like to know how the pixie is actually like perfect for the desert.
I mean, it's got a bunch of close range weapons. It is pretty able to take advantage of the fact that nobody's got any invisibility.
It is pretty mobile. And actually, there's one thing that they point out in this story, which is not made very clear in other one-year war-based stories. And I can't remember if they mention it in this mission or if they mention it in the next one. but one of the things that the Pixie has is it actually does have the same learning computer that the RX-78 has. So it becomes more capable as the pilot uses it, which is like it is actually one of the key things of the RX-78 itself, which is it's one of the main reasons why Amuro was able to keep going so well at the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that was kind of just dropped in other like 1 year war or like near 1 year war based stuff. Like they don't mention anything like that with regards to the NT1 at all. In fact, I'm not even sure if it's officially part of its tech specs.
So looking up, apparently it's lighter, which makes it more agile, which I guess that's why it's better in the desert.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But apparently it foregoes the core block system, which, like most Gundams outside the original one did too.
Yeah, the core block system is not common in a lot of alternate Gundams. Right, so
Double Zeta, which just leaned the heck into it.
Oh, yeah. Also, here's Bork with a nice riff on a very popular quote from the 1 Year War.
Also slightly late, but I like that you're using the GM Guard custom, which has a gigantic shield with machine guns on it.
Yeah, I like that the shield has machine guns in it. It's so goofy. Alright, so it probably wasn't made obvious, but as I was mentioning earlier, one of the things that this mission actually makes clear is that it shows that Genesis is willing to play around with what units are able to do. These gun cannons, despite holding a beam rifle in their hands, only have their cannon attached. It's the only weapon they have. The Pixie does seem to have its full complement. Also, one thing which is kind of interesting here is that the Pixie seems unusually powerful, which may just be part of how it was built for this mission. Yeah, like those things right in the center there are machine guns, and it's pretty great. The Zaku tank is one of the worst units in the whole game. It has like a 2-3 range machine gun, and that's its only weapon.
But you know what it has? Style.
Yeah, kinda. Another unit which is like weird in terms of what it's statted, and I have in this mission is there in the bottom I have the Gundam 6 Mudrock incomplete, which but like its weapons are like it has Vulcans, it has the beam rifle, it does not have the giant cannons on its shoulder, which is okay.
I think the intention is it's incomplete because the cannons aren't there.
Actually, I think what the Mudrock has, also I like that they call it Madrock, but I think what the Mudrock has is it has the rifle and speed saber. I think that's actually its only weapons.
I'm sure this will come up like later when we do more Zeonic Front, but I recall in the original game, like the first time you encounter it, the dude complaining it was not complete.
Yeah, and that might actually come up when we start doing the Zeonic Front stuff. But yeah, like that's also one of the few reasons why anyone's able to handle the Mudrock in Zeonic Front. Because it's still a Gundam.
Yeah.
So that group was just waiting back, wanting to confirm that there was indeed a new model mobile suit being held there, and now they're going to try and rush in and take care of it.
This will go well.
This will absolutely go well for all of them. Nothing bad will happen.
Is that the Efreet you said?
No, it's the next mission has an Efreet as the secret unit. I think this one might have... No, I was going to say, maybe this one was exactly tanks, but I think that was actually the last one. Oh, it was Hild Offers, right.
Gotta love Hild Offers.
Hild Offers is so good. So one thing that I actually like about the Pixie in these stages is that it's also very, very good at building up its tension meter very efficiently, because its attacks are actually like really cheap. So this is Pixie's unique attack, and that unique cut-in is his quote. He will say that every time you see that unique cut-in. And in fact, I think here is one of the most frequent animations I have seen while recording both of these episodes. Because, hey, the Efreet and the Pixie are both close combat mobile suits. So, of course, both of them want to use their unique cut-in attack on each other. So you get a lot of those two saying those exact same quotes at each other. I actually think that the beam rifle and the beam saber are the only attacks that the
incomplete Mudrock has. That's okay. The incomplete one's hard.
No, it's very easy. I don't think I actually leveled it to the complete Mudrock, because the incomplete Mudrock also goes to the G04 and the G05, which
yeah.
This game also has the 7th, but it doesn't have the version of the 7th I really like, which is kind of a shame. But to be honest, that version was kind of just a thing done for a variation book, and then they didn't really do anything with it.
Oh. Yeah, I was going to say, because I know it has the game that had 7th Gundam in it.
Yeah, in fact, that version of Full Armor 7th is different from the original.
Oh, okay.
MSV 7th.
Yeah, you can. I don't know if you want to annotate a picture of it in here, but yeah, you're talking about the one that's basically a giant bug worm type thing.
Yeah, it basically proto-dendrobiums. Even that,
back in the day, basically.
Yeah, even the Full Armor 7th from that same MSV collection is different than the Full Armor 7th that eventually showed up in, I want to say, Battlefield Record?
Yeah.
That's when they finally had the actual 7th or something. Regardless, overall though, I still really like the 7th. I just kind of wish something would have the Full Armor, the old heavy Full Armor 7th, because that is kind of an incredible looking thing. It wasn't overly hard to get the Pixie to get its full get gauge. There was kind of enough units, and he could very efficiently kill everything because of how good melee generally is in G-Gen.
Yeah, Pixie's attacks are just super cheap.
Yeah.
It's a good unit, it's just you have to be able to get close to them.
Pretty much, that's really what its thing is. Its best attacks are very close range. Even its ranged attack is not overly. It's 2 to 4. It's 2 to 4, so it's still very close range. But like it's the unit is meant to be a close range brawler. Like it's very obvious, so it works pretty well.
You got Pixie, and you also got Bork Cry.
Yeah,
Hooray!
by
Gadasoy and Sananima.
Yeah, you get his 2 partners for clearing the stage, and then you get him for maxing out Pixie's get gauge.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's the first episode of
Cross Dimension.
Cross Dimension. Next time we're going to see the second episode, which is also the conclusion.
The next day.
Pretty much the next day.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for us. So we'll see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.